welcome to the Dark Side of the Moon. I'm Bella, and I'm a psychic medium.
And I'm Nancy, and I'm the paranormal researcher / her cousin.
So you're the lead researcher on this one, and this one has to do with what?
Oh, the witch trials in Europe, right? In the early modern period, witch trials were between 1400 and 1782. Apparently, between 40,000 and 60,000 people were killed due to just suspicion that they were practicing witchcraft. Just suspicion.
So basically, if they had like a whiff, if somebody's like,
basically,
she smells like a witch.
Exactly. And primarily in the Holy Roman Empire. Now, it did happen in like Italy and in like France and Portugal and Spain, but those were very minimal compared to Germany. For some reason, Germany went on a witch frenzy, right? Where the other parts of Europe, they dealt with more of a checks and balances type of thing, like, innocent until proven guilty. Actually, show me.
So Germany's more guilty and proven.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you died. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So you actually had to show, proof of why you thought they were a witch, or why waste my time. But Germany was more of, zero F's given, I guess.
We kill first, we ask questions later.
That was it. So the height of the German witch frenzy was marked by the publication of the Malleus Maleficarum, which is the Hammer of Witches. It's a book that, it was basically a witch's handbook, written by a German monk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Written in 1486 by Dominicans Henricus in Ciatorus.
We both butchered that name.
Yeah, and Jacobus Sprengi.
Yeah.
So it was first published in 1487. The main purpose of the Malleus was to systematically refute arguments claiming that witchcraft did not exist. So they could actually go off and just say, nope, this is the reason why witches exist. You give them any excuse why they don't, and somehow they would go back in and say, no, my friend.
According to chapter 2.
Yeah, according to chapter 2, article 39. Yes. This is why they do exist. The body of the Malleus text is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 demonstrates the theoretical reality of sorcery. Part 2 is divided into 2 distinct sections or questions, which detail the practice of sorcery and its cures. And Part 3 describes the legal procedure to be used in the prosecution of witches.
Which leads to a question: is how did this monk know exactly what a witch was?
It never goes really into that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, normally you don't write stuff that you don't know.
Right, I don't know how he figures this out.
Yeah, so how did you figure it out?
It was published 26 times over the course of like centuries too. So people actually took this like as truth.
Well, and I'm sure probably through the publishing, things have got lost in the translation as well.
Probably,
right?
like everything else, right?
Yeah.
So, and according to most research, men were tried. That men were tried just as much as women is actually a myth. Roughly 80% were women. This is a claim made by many historians and scholars. They use it as an argument to disprove the gender-rooted nature of the witch hunt. So clearly, it was a witch hunt against women, because they were saying that in the Malice, it say that women are inherently evil creatures who can sell their souls to Satan, then bewitch and seduce honest men in order to destroy their souls. That's how much power we have. Okay, so as I was saying, Germany allowed like hearsay as fact. Could you imagine? Like you could just accuse me of witchcraft and I'm pretty much done with it.
So if I didn't like you, or if I was jealous of you, or whatever it was, that was all it.
That was basically it. All you needed was one person to say that person is a witch. That's how bad it was. And so
they get these rules in Germany.
Well, it was like the Emperor Ferdinand II, who was Catholic. It seemed like he was trying to get the Protestants to get at Catholicism. That's the one thing I can think of.
So if you were Catholic, which we both are, we would for sure.
So in Germany, they had specific like
criteria,
towns, and who ruled over these territories. They were called prince-bishops. So not only were they royalty, but they were also religious as well. So they had authority over being royal and being and also being religious, as they were
So
a
they
prince
just
and a
made-
bishop.
So they just made themselves the leader of that church or whatever.
Oh, kind of that territory, kind of
Yeah.
like that parish type of
Okay.
thing. Parishes and not in parishes in church, parishes in like
The village.
the village. Yeah, exactly. What is it? So it was during the 30-year. This is during the 30 Years War, right? So people were dying. There was famine. There was disease. Crops were being toppled, and for some reason, people in the town would automatically blame it on witches.
Well, who else you gonna blame it
Well,
on?
yeah, you didn't blame it on the fact that there's a war going on. There's casualties, so there's dead bodies.
Well, that's men that are at war, right?
right.
The only ones that are left in the village are women.
Or women, so
It's gotta be your fault.
exactly. So then the prince bishops kind of taking on, why not feed off this frenzy, because they're trying to.
Well, why not?
So the witch hunts committees were actually set up.
There's a committee for witch hunts.
There is. Yes. So one of the most notable witch trials in Germany was the Würzburg trial, which is the self-governing, like I said, Empire of Würzburg. The Prince Bishop governed over it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the biggest mass trials and mass executions ever seen in Europe. One of the largest witch trials in history, actually. And there was also one in Bamberg as well. And anybody other than the Prince Bishop himself were pretty much targeted. Yeah, whether if you were the elite, whether you're working class, they'd
so they didn't discriminate.
not at all. No, one of the Prince Bishops even had his own nephew.
Maybe he didn't like him.
Had his own nephew.
He's like, you're my least favorite nephew. You're gonna die.
Yeah, there was like 19 priests that were accused of being witches.
Priests too. Wow.
And there were actually children as young as 3 accused of having sex with demons. Like, who the hell? Why? What would a 3-year-old even know what intercourse is? This is where I think this is all like BS, clearly.
Oh, from the beginning.
From
the beginning.
So it's written down. Because this is a long time ago. They don't have a whole lot of facts, but a whole lot of written information.
The thing that they would admit to.
Really. But at least 49 children under the age of 12 are confirmed to be executed, many of them from orphanages and like schools.
So it would be just kids that probably were just hard to handle or
Probably
had some type of mental issue.
and had no family.
Yeah.
So who was going to champion these children?
Exactly.
Nobody. And they were last days were under torture. So if you torture a 12-year-old, did you have sex with a demon? In order for the torture to stop, you're going to say yes.
Yeah. Of
Right?
course. As an adult, I'd say yes. Yes, I kissed the devil's ass.
Oh my God, I do remember that from the first episode. I mean, people were charged for anything, regardless of their age, profession, sex. Even if you were a woman singing in the street, apparently you're singing to the devil. Or if you were just a poor vagrant or hobo, just happened to be walking through the town, and you couldn't give them a good reason why you were walking through town. Well, it's because I'm poor and I have no place to live.
Yes, that's not a good enough reason.
You were accused of being a witch and you were executed.
Wow.
Yeah, once this was done, like there was no way out. There was no excuses. Once you were accused of a witch, nothing you could say could actually save you. Like, I just find that crazy.
That
Like,
is
honestly.
crazy. That's crazy that somebody could be lost.
I know.
You took a wrong turn.
You just got lost, and this is what happened to you.
You're a witch. You must die. Jesus, next time I'm turning left instead of right. Can you imagine?
I know.
Where did I go wrong?
I should have took that left turn in Albuquerque
Exactly.
as a Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it's like that roundabout just made me the wrong exit.
Basically.
They ended up dead.
Oh yeah, there was in one of the Bamberg trials. There was a nun, Maria Anna Junius. She was in a convent in Bamberg. Her father would later be executed. Wrote in a chronicle that a loud cry went up into the city. People were frightened to death as they awoke to find that a natural night frost had killed all the fruit trees, rendered the ground as hard as stone, and put pain to the grain harvest. So then the Prince Bishop was furious, and apparently again,
It was the witches.
it was witches. Yeah, citizens started sending petitions to the authorities demanding to know why the witches and wizards had caused the frost, and the Prince Bishop issued an investigation. Now, I'd have to think that the Prince Bishop is smarter than this.
Not
So
really.
I would have to assume he's doing this, so, you know, to his own agenda, right?
Well, what exactly would
And
what
the-
would he gain from killing?
Oh, I'm thinking it's because of the well, because it looked like it was a religious war, kind of like Protestants against the Catholics. So I don't know. I don't know if this was just his way of gaining more foothold over the people.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't. Well, how the easiest way to hold people, you know, the easiest way to control people is through fear. So
Yeah.
that might be,
And
you
through
know,
poverty. So
yeah. So you sacrifice one to get all the other ones to
yeah.
go in
Think
line.
about it. If
So,
you
yeah.
if you sacrifice 20 or 30 people to get the power
You're
of
30 people. That's a village.
yeah.
Right.
Katharina McLaren, maybe that could be it, was arrested and then she was tortured. So obviously, you know,
So of course that always goes hand in hand.
causing the frost.
She's Mother Nature.
That's a bit. Yeah, they're all tortured to confess. It seems that way, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about the women doing like sexual kind of witches dances, sexual intercourse with Satan or with a lower ranked male or female demon. Wow.
How would they know?
Lower ranked.
You have to be Satan,
but you're good enough to sleep with these two demons.
You're not good enough to sleep with the devil, but we'll give you these guys.
Or they would just say you attended the witch's Sabbath, so you are a witch. I don't know how they prove some of this stuff.
How did they even, if these people were not witches, how did they even know when the witch's Sabbath was?
I don't
right?
know.
All of this information.
Yeah.
It's like, my thing would be like, how do you know? You must be a witch.
Yeah, exactly. What happened was in order to get the elite, they would torture working class people to finally name one of the elite, right? Because they would, in the end, if they would
name them all.
Exactly. One guy was actually one of the elite. He actually contacted the emperor he was friends with to get this all like sorted out, right? So the emperor contacted the Prince Bishop of that particular like town.
Yeah.
And the Prince Bishop was like, nope, not gonna listen to you. It's still apparently killed this dude.
Thanks for the information, but he's still dying.
Oh, basically, yeah.
Now that was probably, if that guy was elite, Prince Bishop, the reason he's killing them was for money. If that guy had land, which is usually
that's what it was. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the Prince Bishop was like, you know what? The reason we accused him was because we want his land. So I don't give a shit who he goes and talks to. He can even go talk to my dad, the king. I'm still gonna kill him.
This was getting like out of hand. A turning point was the case against Dorothea Flock, a member of a well-off merchant family from Nuremberg, whose spouse fled to a colony of Bamberg refugees and issued a complaint of her arrest. That was the one. That's his name. There's his name. I knew it was Dorothea Flock, who arrested the emperor. This was in April of 1630. The emperor called upon the Prince Bishop to defend himself against the accusation made against him and put an immediate stop to the case against Dorothea. The Prince Bishop defied the emperor and resumed the case, which resulted in the Dorothea dying. Unfortunately, because
poor Flockers.
Again, he didn't care. She was executed May 17th. And that was it. Basically, the witch trials basically kind of ended when the Prince Bishops were pretty much dead. Like that was it. And then after, I think people just got tired of it. That's what I'm getting at. The witch trials ended. However, since those arrested, they were still kept in prison. So they ended. And,
so the Prince Bishop of that village or that parish would die, and then the witch trials would kind of end in that area.
It was the two particular Prince Bishops. Yeah,
there was only two that really caused all this happening.
Yeah, because there's the Bamberg trial and the Würzburg trial. So
Jesus! I wonder if they wrote each other.
I don't know.
And we're like in cahoots.
But the witches, just like in most in modern times, they were burned at the stake. They were beheaded.
Times.
Well, I guess more modern times would be I guess more modern times would be
people in your backyard.
would be Salem.
Like in modern times, 2023.
Yeah.
That's the next pandemic.
Oh no, the Bamberg Prince Bishop, he fled to the city of Austria because even the people were finally just getting sick of it. So they released all his prisoners, and they ended for good when the Protestant Swedish troops approached Bamberg in 1632. See, and that's why I believe it is because of religion. Because as soon as the Protestant Swedish troops came in, they were able to this is all gotta end.
Well, yeah, because then they've got the power there, right? So
right,
end it. Well, if you start killing, first of all, women, you can't. We're the ones who have children, so you can't reproduce without us.
Right.
So if you're killing everybody off, your population's gonna die.
Yeah.
Right. So think about it. So there's gonna be somebody that is smart and thinks about this. They're like, they can't all be witches. Right. Right? Someone's got to be thinking, they're like, wow, they can't all be witches.
Exactly.
They can't all be dancing with the devil.
So honestly, it's scary to think that between 40 and 60,000 people died for absolutely no reason.
For nothing.
Whatsoever.
Absolutely. They were all innocent and for stupid reasons, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk into someplace that you're not supposed to be, all of a sudden you're a witch.
You're singing, or you're singing a song in the town square, and you don't sound so good, and you must be a witch.
Yeah, you start farting in the wind. That's it. You're a witch.
You're singing to the devil.
Yeah, God forbid that a frost comes overnight. We're rounding up all the women.
And they actually tortured a lady enough to admit she caused the frost.
And can you just imagine the torture that lady went through?
Oh yeah,
like it wasn't tickling by monkeys.
No. That doesn't sound so good though.
Or it's like puppies.
Monkeys throw like dung at you. You want crap thrown at you?
All right, well, tickling puppies. It's probably like torture. It's got to be, because I mean, come on, to be able to admit to something that you didn't do, knowing full well that the result is death.
In the hopes that that if you admit to it, they'll leave you alone. But no,
I don't know, because she probably saw the pattern.
Probably.
Right? She's that stupid. So she's like, you know what? I'll take death over this torture.
Honestly, I would too. Wouldn't you? I mean, anybody would, right?
I know I would, but I'm like, I'm taking all you bitches down with me.
You would name other people witches before you go down?
Oh,
well, I guess that's usually what used to happen too. They would
but I wouldn't be naming people that I liked.
Like
it would be like it'd
be like Oprah. You get burned at the stake.
Look at it.
So yeah, that is all for today.
That was very interesting and very violent.
Yes.
And again, just goes to show you it's nonsense.
Yeah.
And you know what the thing is? I have to believe that the real witches, the ones that were actually real witches, are very in tune. So they probably saw it. When they saw it coming, they're like, we're hightailing, get out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, right? So they're going to go. Not to say that a couple of them probably weren't actually witches that were burnt at the stake. But again, they were innocent. They weren't, they were healers.
It's not to say they were doing anything bad.
They weren't. They were just healing. They weren't. Yeah. Probably putting curses on things and listen, I have never met anybody that has enough power to bring on a frost.
Yeah. Or famine.
And that kills the crops. Or so yeah. I mean, if there ever was anybody like that, wow.
Because I mean, witches gotta eat too. So
yeah, I know. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Especially if there's a lot of witches are connected to the earth. They're there to grow their herbs and everything else. So yeah, they're not going to bring in a frost.
Yeah, it's more of a positivity, not negative.
Now that giveaway would be if everyone else's crop went down and theirs flourished.
Well, I think
she might be a witch.
Yeah, that might be something,
right? But other than that, yeah, I think I think the Prince Bishops were just very stupid people.
Yeah, no, I think they had an agenda
for sure. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us on this episode, and we will see you on the dark side of the moon.
See you.